Hey everyone, James here with Coffee and Comics. As collectors in the comic book community, we're heavy in the age of variants. Variant covers, that is. So much so that even Kang himself would say, dang, that's a lot of variants. Honestly though, with all these different covers, it's no wonder that Bed Bath & Beyond went out of business. All jokes aside, what I'm getting at is this. The comic book covers are getting most of the attention. But the covers are only really a spotlight for the rest of the book, shining down on a treasure that's just waiting to be opened, or a magical door to walk through. And it's our mission as collectors to see what's inside. As you saw in that transition, this video is labeled 1A, because there will be multiple videos in this series. Today's book, or should I say books, is from the Copper Age, and to be specific, 1993. And they're called Dark Horse Comics. Not the entire series, but we're starting at issue number 8, while also looking at issues number 9 and 10. We're starting at issue 8 for a specific reason. A while back, I visited an antique shop. And in that antique shop, I found a comic book that I've never seen or heard of before. I thought the cover looked really cool, it had a cool name, and the characters seemed interesting. So I picked it up for I believe around $5. And if you want to see what that particular comic book was, you can check out the video linked up top, of course, after you watch this video. Let me know in the comments below after you've watched that video and figured out what the book was. That inevitably led me to this video series. I look forward to reading your answers. The reason we're covering 3 books in this video is because each book contains 4 separate mini-stories, in which, for this video series, we're only looking at 1 mini-story in each book. So here are the books. Dark Horse Comics issues number 8, 9, and 10. And to some, they might be recognizable. And if they are, then this will just be a refresher series for you. But they also might be something you've never seen or heard of before. Just a few things to note before we get into the next part of the video. These comic books don't have a cover date, they don't have a barcode, and they have a cover price of $2.50. Other than that, and the fact that they have multiple stories in them, they look like the typical comic book. And just remember, there's more to a comic book than just the cover. Stay tuned so we can give a quick thanks to the creators. This is where we just take a moment to recognize the creators of the material we're covering. All too often, we recognize the cover artist and the writer, but I would like to take this brief moment to recognize them all, as it does take all of them to create the material. This is also a perfect time to refill your coffee or your preferred beverage of choice before we get to the page turning segment. So if you need to do that, hit the pause for a moment. Go ahead, I'll wait. Okay, so if you're ready and refilled, let's take a look at what's inside. Okay, so before we begin, I will say that this is an overview, not necessarily a review, so it won't be a deep dive in detail about anything and everything pertaining to the books or the characters. It's merely meant to be something for you guys to have the opportunity to look in these comic books and just kind of see whatever it is that you can see. It's really meant for, to see something else besides the cover. So you get to see the inside artwork and how the panels are set up and everything like that. It's really meant for you just to sit back, relax, let your eyes wander and your mind imagine. So the first book that we have in this series for this episode is Dark Horse Comics issue number 8. And at first glance, the comic itself does present well. The cover looks sharp. The colors are good. It's got some simplicity with it. It's introducing X. So on the front cover we have the character of X, and he looks pretty cool to me. When I first look at him, he kind of has a blend of, he reminds me of Deathstroke, he reminds me of Batman, he reminds me of Spawn, kind of all meshed together. And then we have X. At least that's my opinion, interpretation of this particular character on the cover. You notice I do have backing boards in here because there's multiple stories, and I'm trying to hide that because we're not really talking about those other mini stories in this book, and I don't want to spoil anything like that. So this is not really meant to give spoilers, but you can see what you can see as we're turning the pages. So X is the first story in this book. And if I'm not narrating or having any kind of a talking point going on, I will have a little bit of a background music. That way we're not just listening to dead silence. The panels look good, they look simple, and we have a little bit of a dialogue. And right now, X marks the spot, so maybe this guy is about to get whacked or X'd, I'm not sure. And I will hold the edges down on the sides. There's nothing there that I'm necessarily blocking, but it's just so that I keep the book open and the pages open so you can see. The panels look simple, they look structured well, and right off the bat I know I would like this story simply because there's not a lot of dialogue going on, and that's the type of stories and books that I like, where the dialogue is very short and you just let the panels and the artwork kind of tell the rest of the story. Looks like somebody's getting roughed up. This guy's mad. He's about to light this stogie. And then right down here in this panel you can see the character X is hiding and waiting. Moving into some darker panels on these next pages. Lights go out, some things happen. Apparently X is taking care of business. Another up close and front shot of X. And then next thing you know, lights are back on, people are dead. It's very simple, same as on these pages. Very little dialogue, just letting the art and the panels do the work. Looks like we've switched to a green page here, outlined in green. This says Briggs for Senate in several places, so I imagine this is a story about politicians, possibly corrupt politicians, and amazingly, in comic books and in reality, the corruption of politicians knows no boundaries. And I've read this book in this series a couple times, and I like this panel here. This reminds me a little bit of like the Green Hornet. He's got sunglasses on, maybe that's a mask, but it's kind of got that Green Hornet vibe to it. And apparently this guy is really mad, really is in need of some sleep. And here we are, you see the other backer board, so this is the end of the first mini story in this book. It's the end of the first story for X, and they are a little bit short, like I said, but each book has 4 different mini stories. So we see the politician again, I'm assuming there, and then at the end we see X kind of eye spying on him, it appears. So we will continue. And we will journey into Dark Horse Comics issue number 9. Okay, so here we are about to look at Dark Horse Comics issue number 9, continuing the story of X. And here is the cover for this particular issue. Of course, it has RoboCop on there. So just keep in mind that these books have multiple mini stories in them. It could be RoboCop, it could be the story of X, it could be Indiana Jones, Predator, James Bond, Star Wars. There may be more, I don't recall, but that's why some of the covers are different. Here we go, we're going to continue the mini story of X. I'll open that up there. And right away, we're front and center with X, with somebody. There's an exchange of money for some reason or another, but the paneling looks nice. It's a little bit dark, but you can see what's going on. And once again, the dialogue is still short and sweet. And that is something that I do enjoy. Going into the next pages here, looks like we got some cops showing up. We got this guy over here that looks like he's pretty upset about something. Same thing over here, and I'm really kind of jealous because I'm just digging this mustache on this guy. Never been able to grow a full mustache. It's always been kind of scraggly. That's why I keep it short more so than long. Getting to see X a little bit more so than the first part of this mini story. Have you guys ever read these stories? Does anything look familiar to you? Is this brand new to you? I'm curious to know, and you could let me know in the comments. Here on these pages, it looks like a lot of mayhem is happening, and of course, that's due to X entering the scene, busting in. Got a nice shot here coming through, over here with the big shotgun. Very short dialogue, nice panels. Colors look fine to me. And as X has entered, it looks like he is leaving. So now we see him walk away with the beautiful red cape. And so far, I don't want to release the powers or the strengths and abilities of X. And if you know, then you know, that's all fine. If you don't, we'll just leave it as unknown. But I can tell you that he is very territorial, very aggressive. But he has a little bit of humor. And you'd know that after you have read these stories. Looks like we have a little committee going on here. And we approach the end of this mini story in this particular book. And we have a little bit more dialogue here than the previous pages, but that's okay. It's still simple and effective. And I don't know if you guys want to see the back covers of these issues or not. I didn't show it on the first one, but we can certainly look on this one. So let's take a look at the last issue for this video, and that will be Dark Horse Comics number 10. Okay everyone, so here we are in the final issue of this video, Dark Horse Comics number 10. So let's take a look at the cover. Not a great looking cover by any means, but it's simple and I think it works. I think it's still effective for what the cover is and at the time it was made in the early mid-90s. So we are looking at part 3 of the mini story for X, or it's titled Who is X, to be more precise. So here we are, first page of the third part in this mini series. We still have a nice structured panel. We get a real up close look of X down at the bottom at the eye level, and the dialogue is still short and sweet. I did forget to mention within the first part of this story that this story and the first ongoing story after this takes place in an area called Arcadia. Again, we have the simple dialogue, very short and sweet, letting the panels and the artwork tell the tale. I think this character is mysterious, and if you know me, I love mysterious characters. There are characters out there that are very upfront, and you know exactly who they are and what they are. And then there are characters who are very mysterious, and it may take you a while to figure them out. And I believe X is one of those characters. Here we see X right behind a guy. Looks like he's about to give him the goods. Got a massive gun and about to let him have it. And then over here, looks like we're about to have an arrest. It's got the handcuffs. I like the very up close looks, and then expanding out, you kind of see a little bit more of the anger and frustration. Let me know what you guys think of this character. Have you read this series? Do you think he also reminds you of Spawn or a Batman or a Deathstroke? Or maybe he reminds you of someone else? Now we got security detail involved. Cops are coming. Explosions and bliggity blams. We're staring down the barrel of this big gun over here. Here we are at the end of part 3 of this miniseries, Who is X? And it carried through with the simple dialogue and the well-structured panels. And at the bottom it says, continued in Comics Greatest World Week 1, which is what we'll be getting into in the next video. And take a look at this back cover. And I don't know how you say this name. The Udaman, the Wadaman, Udemon, Wademon. You tell me how to pronounce this name. Very purplish looking guy. And I don't know if I actually like this or not. I think they could have did a little something different here on the head. The rest of it looks kind of okay, but I don't know. It looks off to me. But that is the end of this series, this mini-series, introduction to the character known as X. And we will become to know him a little bit more in the next videos. I thought this would be a fun little addition, and I'm curious if you picked any of these panels. Either way, let me know about it in the comments. And stay tuned as we take a look at our sponsor, not really, for the video. Let's give it up to our official, unofficial sponsor, not really a sponsor at all, just for fun page. As you can see, Star Wars Galaxy Deluxe trading cards from Topps. This was early mid 90s era when I was in high school. I did not collect or have any of these. If you did, let me know in the comments. They look kind of cool, but I just don't know if it's something that I would want to have. Okay everyone, so that's the end of episode 1A in this new video series that I have titled What's Inside. There will be a few more videos to come for this first series, and then we'll just continue with different series after that. So be checking out for those. I'll upload them when I can, and I do appreciate all of the support from all of the subscribers, both new and old. And if you're currently not subscribed and you want to support the channel, there's multiple avenues that you can do that. Subscribing, liking, commenting, sharing. There's affiliate links in the description below. All of these options are free for you to use. So, until the next video, enjoy your coffee, enjoy your comics, and enjoy your day.